welcome back to No Shortcuts YouTube channel. My name is Anthony Bromell, and today I want to focus on the great separation that we are seeing when it comes to men and women in relationships. Now, this video is a part of a three-part series that I will entitle The Great Separation, where some of them we'll look at the economy, race relations. Today we're going to focus on male and female relationships. Now, if you've been around, you're an adult, and you realize that seem like the last 5 years heavy, there have been tons and tons of videos and um, information that's constantly being poured out about relationships between men and women. And I get it, a lot of it is informative. Over the years, I've learned a lot of information as a man on how to understand women and dealing with male and female relationships. And I'm pretty sure on both sides, between men and women, we have all learned a lot about each other. But uh, when you sit there and you look at what's really going on, this information is just out of balance. It has become weaponized to the point that we don't realize that somebody is providing us this information um, that is ultimately going to lead to our detriment, the de-evolution of relationships in our society, how our children are being raised in home without mothers and fathers, and all of the negative things that just come from that. So what I want to focus on this in this video is I want to look at, because of all of that divisiveness, this video is like a bucking the trend video where, enough is enough. It's oversaturated. We're at to the point where everybody is, on both sides between men and women have become so critical of each other that it's almost at the point of no return. But this video is going to focus on, what has happened as a result of all of the constant bickering and back and forth between male and female relationships. What's currently happening and what's happening in the future. And because this channel is based on accountability, self-responsibility, at the end, I'm going to come back and provide some strategy of some things that you can do for yourself if you want to have a relationship. There's not a lot of people that's left with their own mind where you have people that's going to follow this trend of bickering and doubling down on the fact that, okay, I'm a woman, I don't need no man, and blah, 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 blah. I'm a male, all women ain't you know what, and we don't need them either, blah, 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 blah. I will say for those group of people, you better have a lot of money if that's going to be your mindset. For the rest of you guys who got some sense and who may watch this channel, you may want to look at ways to buck this trend of men versus women and look at a way for things that you can do to improve your chances of being in a relationship. And so that's what I'm going to focus on this last part. But with all of that said, let's look at these 5 different trends that has occurred because of all of the negativity that we have been seeing in relationships. So let's look at the 5 trends in relationships that has occurred because of all of the negativity and divisiveness we have been fed. So here's one of the first trends. Increased polarizations and fragmentations, which pretty much means that men and women are finding ways to go in opposite directions and isolating themselves. So here's what we're seeing as a result of that. More people rejecting traditional relationships. This is something we see constantly. Men and women forming separate ideological camps, leading to mutual understanding where, Men saying, okay, I'm just going my own way. Women saying, on the other hand, I don't need no man. And as a result, you got a rise in alternative lifestyles, such as people choosing singlehood, some people going to polyamory, and and we'll talk about this in a little bit, people evolving into what you call AI or virtual relationships. And you got these different movements like MGTOW and radical feminism. So let's look at the second trend. Um, you got a shift towards transactional relationships. And with the economic pressures and dating apps and people shifting gender roles and relationships could become more contractual and practical. This is something that we are seeing. You're starting to see people, even when they get married, you got all these prenuptial agreements and cohabitation contracts, more relationship based on shared financial benefits rather than romance. And you also seeing an increase in reliance on technology. Like I was saying, you got these AI partners, you got the sugar relationships, and you got people that's on dating apps that match people based on their lifestyle compatibility rather than love. And all of these things are occurring because of all of these different forms of divisiveness, where it's forming all of these different types of relationships. The third trend is a focus on traditional gender roles, and kind of like what this video is about, bucking the system. So, in other words, people are having enough of all of the negativity and all of the rise of feminism and, this so called anti women, anti men thing, and saying that, no, hold on for a second. We will function better with having a traditional relationship. So you do have a small amount of people that are looking at that have established more traditional roles. You even have women choosing to be stay-at-home moms after becoming dissatisfied with their careers. You got men getting back into leadership, traditional roles in the home, and you are seeing a lot of this when it comes to um, some religions, community, or different type of cultures where they're starting to get back in traditional relationships to create forms of stability. So we got a fourth trend too, where this is called, because of all of this divisiveness and this rise in feminism and just trying to find a way to make these relationships work, you have this 50-50 cool partnership relationship where men and women redefine partnership as more of like a team effort rather than some form of partner struggle. And they focus on what they call emotional intelligence and communication that is being valued more than gender expectations. So, um, and the fifth one, which shouldn't be shocking with all the divisiveness, and that's what we're talking about, you have a rise in AI and virtual companions. So if the gender wars continue, um, people are gonna see that real life relationships are stressful, and you're gonna start having more people turn to what you call AI or virtual partners. Now, they already have AI powered romantic companionships. There's a thing called Replica or Advanced AI. It's like a girlfriend, boyfriend AI. Then you got the VR relationships where people date avatars instead of people. That's a thing. And you're going to see it not only with young people, but you're going to actually see it with older adults. They're going to start having these non-human, non-intimate type relationships. And for those people who got enough money, you even have what you call robotic partners, where they actually replace human intimacy for some form, um, um, for some individuals. And this is actually a thing. If you look at the Japanese in Japan, they already got a rise. There's a whole thing what they call herbivore men, where they just avoid relationships altogether. And you're gonna start seeing some of this stuff in the West. And the reason why I talk about this stuff is because of all of this divisiveness that we've been having. Um, those type of relationships are being established. But I can tell you right now, for the most part, um, those things are going to occur. You're going to have your sugar daddy relationships, the contractual relationships, relationships where um, everything is monetized, almost almost pay for play, and I get it, and it's going to continue to get this way. But to get back to this channel and why this channel is around, the best solution for solving a lot of these problems, y'all, is that, like, we got to humble ourselves and be realistic and come to a common ground for those small amount of people who actually want traditional relationships. And that's going to be um, the choice for the win moving forward. If you want to move forward in the way the world is changing and actually strive and become better in the future. If you want to thrive and survive, traditional relationships is in for the win. Okay? And this is not for everybody at this point, and I may be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. 5 to 15% of the people are going to be able to have that. And where this number come from, it's just based on when you see people on day to day and the decisions that they make, they are very robotic, meaning that they just work on behalf of other humans. They follow what the news tell them to do, what their favorite celebrity tell them to do, and what's trendy. And what's trendy right now is that for women to say all men ain't no good, and it's trendy now for men to say all women ain't no good. And we know that's a lie. And as a male, I can find faults on both sides easily. So you got to buck this trend for those of you who still want a relationship. Like I said earlier, you cannot go by what you see on social media, because a lot of these videos that you see on social media, they're being done as a form or a way to create content for them, those individuals, to generate income. And I get it. But you got to realize that a lot of these people are lying and not telling the truth. So if you want a relationship, I'm not selling you no hope. I'm just going to provide strategies on this channel, since that's what it's focused on, things that you can do within yourself. So here's one of the first things that you need to do. If you want, and this ain't the end all be all, these are just some strategies of maybe attracting a partner or somebody that you want to get in a relationship with. So the first thing I suggest is you need to do the self-work and improve your life to be a great person, be the person that you want to attract in your life. You got to fill the gaps within yourself. In other words, you have to make sure that you're able to find and create your own happiness. You need to be able to take care of yourself financially, and you need to be in love with yourself. Don't, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. In other words, what I'm saying, as an individual, male, men, and women, whoever you are watching this video, it is your responsibility to have these things within yourself and be self-contained. If you are venturing or getting involved with other people and looking for them to provide this stuff for you, you're absolutely wrong. It's your job to provide this stuff for yourself. And, you know, you want to make sure that you don't do anything for a person that they cannot do for themselves, because they ain't going to respect it. They don't have the mindset to respect it because they don't know how to do it, and they're not going to respect it when you do it. They're going to take it for granted. So do not engage in any relationship needing anything from the other person. And I mean absolutely nothing. When you get into relationships and somebody needs you because they need you to take care of them financially, or they're looking for you to make them happy, or whatever the case for, somebody feel that they need you for, once people get their needs or their circumstances met, they change. So that's why you want to make sure that when you get yourself involved with anybody, or you call yourself getting in relationship, men, listen, if you can't do all of the things you need to do for yourself, or women, you feel if you can't do everything that you need to do for yourself, you don't need to get involved with nobody else. And I know people, this is a different perspective, but this is going to make it a lot easier when you look to deal with people and choosing a relationship. It's easier to vet people because you need to deal with people that's actually on your level. So deal with somebody with a like mind. What I mean by that, you don't have to necessarily be on the same level financially, because if you're a man and just say you drive a more expensive car than the person that you're dating and that you're interested in, you don't have to necessarily drive the same level of expensive car. What I'm saying is, make sure that that person is taking, if you're taking care of your car, meaning that you get your oil changed, your tires rotated, you keep your brakes up, you keeping the car, the well-being of the car, and you need to date somebody else who actually got a car and doing the same thing. And it don't have to be the same type car. It costs the same type much amount of money. But my point is, if you're a person that's taking care of your responsibility and you need that vehicle to get you back and forth to work, and you dating somebody who also need their vehicle to get them back and forth to work, and you realize that they're not doing what they're supposed to keep that vehicle up to par, then chances are they're not a responsible person. So you want to make sure you got somebody with like mind and with the same mindset when it comes to getting things done and being able to take care of themselves. If you get yourself involved, it's just like a lady. If you used to hear these stories where these men would be in prison and they had a girlfriend, and while they locked up, they tell the girl all different types of stuff, that when I get out, it's gonna be about me and you. I'm gonna marry you, and I'm gonna do all this different type of stuff and find a job and all this different type of stuff. And that dude get out, and once his needs are met, and she give him a place to stay, and she taking care of him, he become a totally different person. And it's like that on both sides, where you can have a man who find a woman who need a lot of financial help, and you help her to get on her feet and get all her needs met, and all of a sudden her attitude change. So you want to make sure that you got somebody who don't need you but who actually wants you. And I know it's difficult. And remember, this is not for everybody, and this is not for a large amount of relationship. These are for the few people who found this channel and who agree and understand what I'm coming from. But this is the ultimate solution. It's just going to take the general society and more people a lot longer. So, like I said, don't deal with anybody who don't deal with anyone needing you to do something for them. They should only want you to be in a relationship with you, just because of who you are as a person. Like-minded individuals only. Find somebody with your mindset and experience. And that ultimately, that's the gist of this video. I want you guys to be able to let's look past all the negativity and realize that um, there's more out here than us purposely being guided to be against one another. That's by design. And there's a whole lot of things that I can go into. People, first thing that comes to mind when it comes to population control, um, the de-evolution of actual society. Because if you attack the family structure, which is definitely being attacked, you know the chances of your kids being corrupted and um, even male and females living in this world where everything is becoming more expensive without each other, you know, people are really in the struggle mode, that's not coincidence. That's by design. So I always say two people that's working together with common sense is definitely better than one. And it is a great strategy to get into a traditional relationship for the future. With that said, this has been part one of, the great separation between male and female. I will do a part two and three, one based on the economics and the other one based on the lives with race relations in this country. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get into the algorithm, so make sure you like the video. I truly appreciate it. And until we see each other again, be safe out there and peace.